going to be showing you how to integrate the PSU8600 into a TAA portal project. What Siemens done is created some pre-made function blocks and faceplates for the PLCs and the HMIs in order to easily integrate the PSU8600 into your system. Let's talk a little bit about the hardware that we have right away. We've got a S7-1500 PLC here that's going to be communicating with the PSU8600. And on this module we have a buffer module that's plugged into the PSU8600 base unit. Finally, we have a 19-inch comfort panel that's going to show you exactly the objects that we're going to be creating onto our screen. So right now I have the TIA portal software up and running, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this PSU8600, put it into our project, and configure it to communicate with the PLC. So let's start out by opening up the project view of our software. In our project view, I already have an HMI and a PLC configured, so let's add our PSU8600. And all we do in order to do this is to pull it out of our power supplies menu, and we find the correct unit, and we drop it onto our screen. At this point, what we can do is take that unit and have it set up to communicate with the PLC. And that's pretty easy to do. We just take the ports and join them together, and we've created a connection between the power supply and the PLC. Pretty straightforward. At this point, we can open up the properties of the PSU8600, and what you can see here is it gives you a graphical representation of exactly what the power supply is. You can see our different dials here. These uppermost dials will allow you to set the voltage levels of each channel, and these lower dials will allow you to set the current limit for each channel. You can do that either with the dials, or if you're connected to a Profinet capable processor, you can configure all of this stuff to happen via the field bus. So it's very flexible in that regard. What we do also have is this buffer module, and what you need to do is add that also to the configuration. So let's find a buffer module from our catalog. And there's a couple of different buffer module here that we can add. There are also expansion modules that you can add onto this unit that allows you to add more channels. So if you need more output channels, you can configure those and add them as well. Obviously we don't have that here, so we're just going to take our buffer module and we're just going to click it and drag it over onto our screen. So now we have the hardware set up that's actually going to be in our system. Let's configure the different properties of the PSU. So let's click on this unit. In the software, there's the Properties tab, and this allows you to configure, number one, what the Profinet address is of the unit, and number two, we can configure specific properties for each one of these outputs. A couple things we can set here. First of all is going to be the voltage output level. We can go from 12 volts all the way up to 28 volts, and that can be set here. You can also configure that on the fly using the pre-made function blocks that Siemens has created. You can set the current limit here, and then you can tell it how to behave in case of a shutdown condition. Another thing that will also allow you to configure is the base address of each channel within the module. So for now we're going to leave those at the defaults because the faceplate that the HMI uses will actually allow us to configure what those voltages are. So these are some properties that you can add. Another thing to consider for the PSU8600, and another reason this is a great value as far as getting diagnostics out of the unit, is that each one of these devices has a web server built in. So you could have someone at the office level actually connect to the web server of this unit and look at different diagnostics of the actual unit. So that it allows for you to help with your uptime. It can give management a little bit of an idea of what's going on in your system as well. So let's activate the web server. And we're going to have it automatically update the pages every now and again.